Dad, it's Friday, and that means one thing. The week's grind is behind you, and now you're crashing into the weekend at full speed, and you've got little time to take a breath before you throw yourself into whatever you have planned with the little ones. Where are you gonna find that second to reset, that extra bit of wind? If you're anything like me, I just need to take a second. It's been a tough week, and I need that moment to gather my thoughts before I can get anywhere close to giving them what they need. And that's why Friday Fuel exists. This is your moment to reset, refocus and recharge before you step into the weekend. This is not just another motivational talk. I'm putting down a marker and I want to help you show up as the dad that your family needs. Every Friday we are going to dive into the relentlessness of fatherhood. We will talk strategies, insights and help you shake off the stress from the week. Fatherhood doesn't wait, and neither should you. Your kids need you present, engaged and energized, and taking a moment for yourself should give you that all-important time to disconnect and focus on what's really important. So if you like what you hear, mark your calendar. Every Friday is your chance to fuel up. You can join us for Friday Fuel. You can join the Modern Fatherhood Club on our website. You can grab one of our resources. You can grab one of our courses. Everything has been created with you in mind. Everything has been created to help you succeed in your role as dad. It starts with taking a step back, resetting, and taking a moment for yourself so that you can give them what they need. This is Friday Fuel. This is Aidan, and I'm excited to share with you this week's episode. So this journey, this is yours. This is what fatherhood is all about. I see your effort, commitment and dedication, and I celebrate your attitude and willingness to push on. But is your failure to appreciate the value and contribution you bring to the table early doors costing you time? Is it costing you connection? Are you focused on what's important, or are you focused on what's next? In the early moments, you can get away with being distracted. You can rely on instinct to get you through it. You can focus on the short-term fix, that next paycheck, or whatever it is a short-term fix in your current situation looks like. But as they get older, a colder, distracted and distant dad is going to leave them with more questions than answers. That version of you is going to cost them their confidence, their resilience and their self-respect. Your inability to focus on a longer term strategy and the legacy you want to leave is going to leave you feeling exhausted, frustrated and at times overwhelmed. On the descent into the darkness, you have opportunities to change the way that you see the world. You have options and you have chances to make amends, reflect and address whatever it is that's holding you back. My friend, it's your stubbornness and inability to make adjustments that ends up costing you. But in reality, it costs them so much more. As someone who hit the bottom, my thoughts stopped me in enjoying the little things. Those moments of joy only found in that bubble we find ourselves in after having a baby. As a proud man, I didn't want to seek help. I didn't ask for help, and I didn't want to express to those I loved the most just how hard I was finding it. Do you know why? To some extent it was shame, but mostly it was because I was in solution mode. The problem is, in this dark place, you get tunnel vision. Your focus isn't on a solution, but the impact of your action or your decision. You see, suicidal thoughts, in my experience, are designed to test you, and they force you to reflect on what you have, but more importantly, they force you to consider the consequences of your action. You start to consider the impact of your decision on your kids, on your partner. We plan the exit. We recognise the risks and we understand that our action is going to have consequences for those we love. We know that they'll never be able to come to terms with our failure and our decision to leave them behind. We also know that they will question why and ask themselves if they could have done more. We also know that the financial implications of our situation will leave them vulnerable and force them to make difficult choices. Our action is planned, and so too is the outcome. Suicidal thoughts are all-consuming, and it's that hopelessness which leads us into an ever-darkening hole. It's the abyss, and for some there is no light and no point of return. But for you and I, there will always be hope. First, we must accept that the fight back to the surface is harder than the descent. The darkness is all-consuming, but it's the narrative that we tell ourselves day in and day out that destroys our ability to see what's beautiful. We associate shame with openness, but it's the willingness to face our reality and take responsibility for our choices and past action that are going to help us find our way back. To fight back, you have to be courageous. You must find the motivation to move beyond what is holding you back. The core motivation must be strong enough to hold you accountable, and it must be rooted in the things that you love. Your children are your strength. They represent your chance for redemption and recovery. But to change the way that you see the world, you must first face up to the past, the experiences that have shaped the man you are, and you must be prepared to look beyond your current circumstances. You must reflect on past mistakes and decisions made that may inhibit the way you think and feel. You must reflect on indecision and any times where you lacked confidence or clarity. Above all else, you must understand that there are decisions inside and outside your control, and those inside your control you must take responsibility for. I was fearful. I failed at many things, and I never felt like I'd reached my potential. I'd carried this into fatherhood, and it ate away at my confidence. But it destroyed my ability to see all that I had accomplished. I felt empty, embarrassed, and frustrated, but I was to blame. I was accountable for my progress, and I'd let those around me down. I'd always been confined by my own thoughts, and that approach limited my performance. There were always possibilities, but I let them slip by. It's not until you become a dad that you realise that your past mistakes may stop them from fully living, embracing their potential and stepping out from your shadow. You question whether you're right to lead them. With no prior experience and no clear line of sight on where you're heading, you scramble for answers and hope that the old ways of thinking will see you through. But that's not what they need. They need a bright light to help them see that they are capable of so much more. And the best time to become the torchbearer they need is when they're small. You cannot dim your light to serve them. You cannot stop living because you see the need to be there and be present. You must lead, and you must learn to shed the past mistakes and learn from the setbacks. I failed at fatherhood for a brief time. I didn't appreciate the need to rise above the noise in my own head, and I never considered that what they needed was a refreshed, purposeful leader. I believed the me I'd become was enough, but when faced with burnout, anxiety and depression, I could no longer see the dad they needed. That burned out shell of a man was bringing down the mood, the energy, and draining the resources of those that love me most. As someone who'd never sought support or talked about the challenges he'd faced, I relied on my resilience and stubbornness to see me through. But the end result was a man in a deep hole with no confidence, no self-respect, and no smile. I feared the future, but I feared something more. I feared they'd become just like me. I feared they'd burn bright but burn out before they'd had a chance to showcase their talents, potential and strength. In the lead up to becoming a dad, we hope we're capable of setting the tone and leading by example. We look at role models for guidance, when in reality we must become a role model capable of leading from the front. We must help them find their voice. It's our exceptional leadership, empathy and presence, and a willingness to share stories and experiences that will help shape who they become. Our darkness, the burden we carry, and the torment that we subject ourselves to is getting in the way of your relationship, your ability to feel something unique, and your willingness to push on. You can recover, you can set the tone, you can commit to a change in approach, and you can find a solution. Your failure to try is what's costing them, and it will cost them in the future. Don't halt their dreams, don't cast a shadow that dims their light, and don't think there isn't another option, because there is. Self-pity, a lack of accountability and respect will stop you finding a solution, and it will drain you of the energy and power needed to fight back. The day you commit to making a change, the hard work begins. Your story is your fuel, it's your fire, and it's the fuel you need to push back against the torrent of abuse you subject yourself to on a daily basis. Suicidal thoughts cannot stop you being the dad they need. Dark thoughts cannot stop you clinging on to the light they shine. Let them inspire and jumpstart your future. Because if you don't, they lose out. They lose their bright future, and they'll forever live never knowing what really led you to step over the ledge. You're not alone in this. And even though it feels relentless, there's power in every choice you make, every value you instill, and every quiet sacrifice you make. Remember, every effort counts. Your kids see you showing up, and that consistency matters. You, my friend, are not alone, and there is a community of dads that face similar struggles. So be sure to lean on them when you need to. Your love is enough. Even when you feel stretched, your love and values are felt deeply by your kids. Finally, reach out, connect, and don't be afraid to lean on others when it gets heavy. If this message hits home, share it with another dad who needs to hear it. Together we need to build a network of similar-minded dads who lift each other up and show our kids the strength of community. I want you to know that you're not alone. I want you to know that you and you alone can set the tone. Your self-respect is important. The conversation that you allow internally to throw you off course, you can control it. You can have more impact if you can get it under control. In the previous episode we talked about the input, that information that you're feeding yourself and how it fuels the output, that objective of being the dad they need. No matter where you are, no matter where you've been, no matter what you've experienced to date, your challenge is to set the tone. Your challenge is to give them the dad they need. Your challenge is to inspire from a position of strength, courage and confidence. Your resilience will be tested. The relentlessness of fatherhood is going to catch you out at times. It will leave you feeling frustrated, angry, overwhelmed, but your past mistakes cannot control their future. Your failure to be accountable for your previous action or your mistakes or your fear of failure that held you back cannot stop them becoming the people they need to become in the future. Your ability to guide and influence who they become because your values stand out, your willingness to push on and bounce back sets the tone. The quality of your experience, the quality of your interactions, the quality of your connection, that builds their mental strength, that builds their confidence, their self-esteem. Your job is to get out of your own head. Your job is to find the solution that works for you. In the darkness, you have two choices. Fade away, leave it all behind, or fight back. Fight for that glimmer of hope, that chink of light, and follow it. The fight back is harder than the descent. The fight back will take your energy levels to a new low. But with the right motivation, the right connection to what's important to you, you can take steps forward. The key is understanding what you're capable of. The key is understanding what's held you back. The key is understanding the man you are and the man that you want to become. You are a leader now. Your role as a father is to lead, is to guide, is to create a world that they will thrive in, but not at the cost of your health, of your well-being, of your self-esteem, of your confidence. If you needed to hear this message today, drop a comment below. Let me know how the Modern Fatherhood Club can support you more. Let me know what other stories you want to hear. This is Aidan. This is the Modern Fatherhood Club. This is Friday Fuel. This is your chance to reset, it's your chance to reflect, and it's your chance to assess where you are right now so that you can commit to making changes, so that you can give them the dad they need this weekend. Your role is so simple. Your impact will last a lifetime if you can get out of your own head and focus on what's truly important. Join the Modern Fatherhood Club at modernfatherhoodclub.com. Follow us on Instagram. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Grab one of our free resources. We are now taking you through all the steps that we think are necessary in that first year. We're talking baby tips, we're talking an early dad guide, we're talking burnout, we're talking maximising paternity leave, and we are talking how to support your partner on her return to work. This is Friday Fuel. I'm excited to have you here. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you soon.